you got to realize that whatever you're doing, you're competing with somebody. What is it that gives you an advantage over your competition? Whatever you're good at, try to be great at it. And if you're great at it, good things will happen.
Maverick Podcast.
I'm far from average. That's why I had to come sit down and chop it up with DJ Maverick. They know my name from coast to coast and even in Dallas. I use my talent when I'm faced with a challenge. Gratitude strength is my magnet. Close your eyes and imagine. If you can see it in your mind, then you can have it.
Maverick Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. This is the Maverick Podcast. I'm your host, DJ Maverick. Today we have a friend of the pod, once again, the one and only rock star, Mark Gomez. Welcome to the pod.
What's up, dude? Awesome being back.
Yeah, it's like being back home, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is.
Always a great time.
Third time.
That's dude, awesome.
No. Three. No, this is fourth.
No way.
It is fourth. Yeah.
Really? It doesn't feel like it.
The first one was back in like 19, dude.
It's like virtual, right?
Dude, yeah. Yes.
Did we count that one or no?
We should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was different. It was different times. Like,
yeah.
if you think about all the craziness, right?
I mean, we had a pandemic since then.
Yeah.
And life changes.
Yeah.
Lots of life changes.
Crazy.
And it's time, but time flies. I remember when we got on there and started kind of like, hey, talking about, hey, give me your 10 best songs, 10 favorite songs. That was going to be the topic. And then went through that. It's been a long time, but it feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah, because that was my initial concept. I wanted to, get people to give me their top 10 songs. Because we all have songs that take us back to a special place, right? But I couldn't get around the copyright. Like everywhere I would post it, like it would get flagged, and then I couldn't post it. So it would have been a cool idea. Maybe someday.
It was cool. It was cool. If you can ever get through that and bring it back, I think people love to hear. Why is it that song is their favorite, and what brings that song, what keeps it happy place, brings a happy place, brings a maybe remembering something that happened in their life. It's a really cool concept,
and it's hard because it puts you through an exercise of top 10. Yeah, that was so hard for me. I don't know how you felt, but I was like 10 songs. That's super hard.
It's super hard because there's so many that influence, so many songs that influence your life. In different aspects, and then you got to pick one. You can have multiple songs in different times in your life, and just to pick one is so difficult. I agree.
Yeah. We were talking before we started recording about, your comments about Peso Pluma, and people are still fighting on TikTok about, his background and everything. Yeah. So maybe today you'll have some like clips that'll go viral again, because still going viral.
On that note, did he cut his hair or not?
Did he what?
Did he cut his hair?
Yeah. So he went had a GQ photo shoot or something, and he cut his hair. He looks different, right?
I saw a video when he was on Jimmy Fallon recently, and Jimmy Fallon was asking him about his haircut, and then Jimmy Fallon put on that wig that looks just like his. Nice. And apparently it was kind of like a mistake. Like he wasn't supposed to get that haircut.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, when he showed up, that's what he was saying on Jimmy Fallon. He's like, he showed up and something happened with the barber. And then he just left it, something to that effect, and then it just caught on. He just went with it, and it caught on. It gave him notoriety or whatever. I
wonder what about all the fanboys that got the Peso Pluma cut? Now are they going to be mad? They have to get this new, fresh, cut. We'll see.
I heard it was AI. Some people were saying, "Hey, man, that's just an AI image. It's not really him."
Because he had a GQ photo shoot.
Did he?
I know that. So I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, as far as the music goes, I think he stays pretty much the same, right? He's not changing much on that?
Not really. Not so far. Okay. So we'll talk about that, because I don't know if we want to dive in. Let's start off there with music or what?
Sure. I mean, we got a lot of topics that you and I were discussing earlier to bring up there. I think something that's happened right now, they're very important. So, I mean, we can do something light.
Let's do it. Yeah. Let's start with Bad Bunny, something light, right? Maybe you'll go viral again. You're telling me about your feelings about Bad Bunny.
Well, I think when you and I were talking about coming back to the podcast, and I think I texted you Bad Bunny, the rise and fall of Bad Bunny, right?
Yeah.
Because my understanding is that this tour, and this is from family members that really follow him, they were telling me that the last CD, the last stuff that he did was not hitting as hard as his previous one. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think a lot of his fans grew up with more of the trap songs, more of the party songs, and he's experimented a little bit more with that. So his last album didn't have as many hits, right?
Okay.
Like if you listen to some of his other albums, it's like hit after hit after hit. but this one it didn't hit as hard for sure.
So it reminds me of our back and forth with Finance Bro.
True. Yeah, shout out to the Finance Bro.
Shout out to Finance Bro. That he's such a big fan of his, and every time he saw something pro but Bad Bunny, he would text me. Text all of us. And no. Apparently he could come back. He did that collab with we talked about it last time with Frontera. I thought the song itself is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, anything Frontera does right now is like golden, you know?
Yeah.
They continue to like hit after hit after hit, completely different genre, but it's so cool.
That was one of my sort of pain points about Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
If you think there may be overexposure is a bad thing, right? Because people get tired of like overexposure.
Yep.
And I don't know what do you think? So you're saying the downfall of Bad Bunny. Like, what do you think are some of the points that causes that fall for him?
Overexposure is one thing that I didn't think about because people get, especially for him, his voice. To me, it's his voice that like when he's singing, just too much. Like and it gets
monotone.
It is monotone, and to some folks, I mean, can you do something different? Like for me, I would think, can you go somewhere else with this? But even when you do the collab with somebody, someone so different like Frontera, your voice is still the same,
right?
Are you looking at something different? You know, I saw him on SNL. That was pretty funny. He's got kind of a funny side, so maybe he's gonna go into acting or something.
He did Narcos.
He did.
I don't know if you saw him on Narcos, but he was on there. He was okay. I mean, it wasn't a big role or anything, but he was on Narcos.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. But I mean, I don't want to be completely negative on this. It's a personal taste of mine that, you know, go do something different. I mean, the auto tune that he uses a lot in his music. There's people out there. It's an art form. It's music. I think it's if you stay with that for a significant amount of time like he does, it's gonna put you in a niche, in a corner, and then it's hard to get out.
Yeah, because I think your fan base, their taste is gonna evolve, right? Like there's gonna be an evolution. So what they liked maybe when they were like 18 years old, 19 years old, whatever, going to party. Now they're getting older.
Yes.
They're not maybe going to want the same vibe anymore from Bad Bunny, right?
Yes. Look at Ricky Martin, right? Like, look, guys like him, he started off with like very mellow and ballads and stuff like that, but then he would start going to samba music, and it's like Maria, remember that song back in the day? Really, really cool, danceable music, and so it's very versatile that way. And if you stay, just like you said, with trap music, maybe with this one, he's trying something different. It didn't hit, and maybe the fan base still looking for that party trap music that he's into. But because I heard that he was here near the doing a concert, and I think the ticket sales were not. Yeah, they kind of compared him to the last tour where he killed it. Like it was so hard to get any tickets. I know family members that would travel just to go see him, you know, almost like Taylor Swift type stuff. Yeah. And what's crazy about his tour is the production cost is crazy. I mean, he comes out in a horse, like the lighting, it's a full production. Yeah. So to be able to pay that level of production, your ticket sales either have to be crazy, like pricey, or you have to fill that stadium up. Yeah. Right? Yeah. On a similar note, because you have the Taylor Swift, right? I mean, has there ever been a tour at that level, dude, that it continues to go and it continues to grow even as it goes? Does that make sense? Like she has no limit. Like it's really incredible what she's. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of her music either, but like you got to respect what the talent that she has and how much influence she has on just society in general, dude. It's incredible. Yeah, I mean, the only body that I can think of that's toured forever stadiums is somebody like the Rolling Stones or something like that, right? Yep. And they have like evolved a little bit, but they're still packing stadiums. Yes. So shout out to those guys, dude. It's incredible that all over the world, the way she packs stadiums and how relatable her music is, even not just for high school, early teenage, maybe late teenage years or early 20s. People like really relate to that here in this country, but the rest of the world, I have family back in Mexico that love her and have traveled to see her her concerts, and not just in Mexico but like in the U.S. It's really, really impressive.
What was funny to me is seeing all the women get into football all of a sudden, because she was dating Kelsey, and everybody was like wearing the jerseys and stuff, and they're like, go football, right?
Go,
like,
go Taylor's boyfriend or whatever, go Taylor's boyfriend, score the points, whatever. It's so funny to see that, and I'm sure like business-wise, the NFL is like all about
loved it, dude. I mean, the amount of like times that they would cut for her to just get a reaction, like every time it was like, okay, what does Taylor think about this play, right?
Yeah, and then she's bringing all her her friends to like the box office, or the box section of the stadium, and where she's sitting, and they're all hanging out. It's like a party, it's a whole vibe, dude. It's so cool.
Yeah,
so cool. I like that part of it, because they look like a really good couple. They look like they're really happy with each other, and they complement each other very well. So. Yeah.
The thing about me is most of the stuff that I like from her is when she's going through a breakup and she's writing about the songs. Like that's kind of the lyrics and stuff that I like from her. Yeah. So it's kind of a bummer, because to be in that, she has to break up with him. So I don't know.
It's
gonna be tough.
One of his teammates, I mean, she's seen the news, but one of his teammates brought her out, and on a different note, the kicker, Harrison Bunker. Yeah, I think that's his name. But yeah, he took over social media for a little while, and just for a completely different reason. And she might have something to write about, and start singing and start, yeah, exactly. He's giving her a lot of fuel, and it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah.
So rewinding it back to Bad Bunny, he's kind of been on a hiatus from new music.
Okay.
So maybe that could be a good thing or not. I don't know. What do you think about being just out, and then all of a sudden maybe your fans forget about you? I don't know.
Different reaction from fans, or reaction from the first tour to this one.
True.
Okay, what is it that we did different? Do we need to go back? Do we need to reassess? At least something went wrong, and then at that point do something different.
Yeah, because we were talking about J-Lo, right? She canceled her tour because she wanted to spend more time with family.
Yeah.
Right? But really, we know it's ticket sales, right? Like the ticket sales were just not there.
Dude, and they were like, I heard, I don't know if it's for a reliable source or whatever, but online they were saying like $8 tickets.
Wow, no way.
Yeah, and then she was trying to fill up arenas, big arenas, and the fan base is not there. I mean, it's a complete different generation, different type of music. She's trying to bring back what she used to do back in the late 1990s to early 2000s.
Really,
that was it. So a lot has changed. Different generations are out. People know you maybe from a couple of movies that you've done in the recent past, but they might not even know that you made music.
Right. Right. I posted that. Have you seen that meme of Ben Affleck where he's outside smoking and he looks like super stressed? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that one.
So there's a meme where everybody posted, he looks like he's like super stressed, right? So I posted, like, the headline was like, J-Lo announces canceling the tour because she wants to spend more time with family. Ben Affleck. And then he's like outside smoking, like, oh man, here we go.
So she's got 2 movies, my understanding is right now, right? There's one called Atlas, and then there's another one that's I think like almost like a documentary.
Yeah,
and they kind of
about her life.
Yes,
the one about her life is really weird. It's like it kind of flopped, really. You could tell the production was crazy budget. Yeah, but just the storyline and how they filmed it was just not there.
Yeah, I wonder how much she influenced the production part of it, the direction part of it, and how headstrong she is. From what I understand, is that she's got a lot of people out there saying that she's a very difficult person to work with.
Yeah.
And when that happens, dude, I guess you just have to comply at that point. Well, this is what the main artist wants, and then we have to do that. Here it is, and now the studio is okay. Well, this is what we have. Let's throw it out there. Maybe we'll make some money.
And all the money that they invested, it's like, hey, we got to rock with this, right?
We got to rock with this. This is what we have now, and whatever comes from it, let's hopefully it's a plus. Yeah.
So what's going to be sort of your call on Bad Bunny? Downfall, or are you going to give him a chance to, like, let's see what this next album does?
I mean, he had his standard was raised so high on his own, right? Because of all the sales that he did, and everybody was talking, and he was like on every aspect of media. So it's such a high standard, and for him to maintain, you hear it all the time with, like, we're looking at numbers like Taylor Swift, you're looking at Rolling Stones, you're looking at like people like Metallica that continue to like go to their audiences and continue to fill stadiums, whenever they want, back in the day, I mean, you had like something like Michael Jackson that would do that. People at that level, they're always on that button, on that pulse of what's happening, what's relatable and relevant to the society that they're part of, or maybe the country, or they're just their core audience. So
yeah, and could it be that maybe he's out of touch too, right? Because you remember when he threw that phone from the fan, and he was like just threw the cell phone. Maybe he's out of touch. Maybe now, like if you get so successful, you kind of like think you're above everybody. I don't know. Maybe that could be a thing too.
Yeah, that was. I saw that and like, what are you thinking, man? This is a fan, and everybody's got a camera now.
Yeah,
they're everywhere.
And that's like your one opportunity. Like I get what he was saying. Like there's a time and place, but that's like your one time you're gonna. If she's like, that's my biggest like music, like God, like I love him. Yeah. That's my one opportunity to get a selfie with him.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do?
No, and you. The one thing you don't do is react that way.
Yeah,
you just don't. There's too much to lose for you and for her as an individual. Like you're still a human being. You don't minimize this other person that is alive and there and asking you for something. I agree. There's a valid point there where he needs to be more, or the individual that was asking for the autograph or the picture needs to be more aware.
Right.
It's not the time or place. However, man, I'm not gonna grab somebody. That's an assault. That's an argument for assault. You just touched me, man. We were not in that at that point. You were aggressive. Mm-hmm. Now there's a lawsuit, and
hopefully she had an OtterBox on her cell phone, and maybe that would be a great way for her to earn money. Like, hey, my phone survived Bad Bunny because of OtterBox.
OtterBox is like, right? Here you go. Yeah. We're making money on you, and it was a bad video on that. Yeah, I remember.
All right. What about Yahir? What do you think about Yahir Saldivar?
So, dude, you sent me this video of his.
I'm telling you, that's like the new wave. The kids are like, they're eating it up, dude.
I'm way beyond that in the sense that I didn't know who he was, and then you sent me that video. I looked at, I watched it, and I was cringing all through it because I'm like, it's like what I guess from when you and I were kids, like the gangster rap type stuff, the NWA stuff, the Bone Thugs and Harmony, and all those folks, Snoop, like would talk about violence, just complete violence, and this is what is happening now is that they with him. From what I see, the music itself, if they could have different lyrical content on the music, would be awesome. I would listen to that all day.
That's the thing. The music that he's taking is cumbias from Pegaso, like cumbias from Mr. Chivo. If you listen, like it's just the original cumbia, and he's changing the lyrics on top of that.
Yeah. But the lyrics, I mean, what the message? I can't get behind that. Like there's too much happening in where our family's from in Mexico, where so much violence is happening, and if you listen to that, and he's getting money from listeners, then what is he endorsing? What is he putting out? And I don't know.
They call it cumbias bélicas, so that's kind of the wave. They're calling it cumbias bélicas. Okay. And he's kind of the leader, and he's from Matamoros. Okay. So a lot of people are saying like he's the next Rigo Tobar. Okay. What do you think Rigo Tobar would think about the music?
He'd be like, he's like, no. He's not gonna be part of that. I mean, I remember that song. No me odies por ser tan guapo, or no. From Rigo Tobar, Tobar. Yeah. It was so funny because he would almost make fun of himself. Yeah, it was very lighthearted. Very. I remember everybody's dancing to his music, and he was so happy-go-lucky. But that part of the country, I mean, there's history of violence, and that influenced him. I mean, I'm not saying that's not going to influence somebody growing up in that environment. However, for me, outside looking in, like, I mean, I can't get behind that. No, it's hard. It's really hard.
What I wonder is like plagiarism versus inspiration, because all of his tracks are literally the same cumbia beat from all these like cumbia, like Pegaso, like I said, stuff like that. And he's just changing the lyrics. Okay. So I wonder about copyright. I'm sure he's probably not getting the clearance before putting the track out there. Wow. Like what's going to happen with that?
Okay. Right? I mean, but you're more of a business guru on this one. Is if Pegaso and Mr. Chivo, those old cumbia groups, are they getting any revenue from their original pieces? But this dude is bringing it up. So hey man, I'll let you use it if you give me a cut of this.
But my point is maybe that conversation should have happened before you put out the song, right? Because now you're kind of like at their mercy. If they agree, like, hey, we kind of get it. You're exposing our music to the new generation. We'll give you a pass, right? But if they don't, you know, they could get in trouble. That's what happened with Kanye and Ozzy Osbourne. You know, he sampled that, he put it out there, and Ozzy was like, nope, and he had to remove it from the album.
Okay. I wonder the desperation aspect of things for those people, because even though they were famous at one point, they're not famous anymore. Not with this generation. It was like, you know what? If you're gonna give me, if I can get some money, I'll let you use it. I think it's a desperation factor at this point from those folks, because when they were famous, they were not like making a lot of money.
True.
But now if they can make whatever they can extra, hey, it's gonna help out. So he might be in a way almost like, it's a hard word, but like abusing the system. Like, okay, I'm gonna take over. Hey, I'm gonna give you some money if you want to. If not, I'll keep all the money for myself. You know, I'll give you some if you're okay with it. If not, we'll go to litigation and see who wins.
Yeah, because I mean, he just basically blew up. So he had started putting songs on TikTok. And then they started trending. Wow. And then people started doing the dance to the song. It's called La Chimichanga. That's the song that blew up for him. And you would see all kinds of even like famous people, artists and stuff that would be dancing to that song like on TikTok. Wow. That's how he blew up.
Yeah, and I'm sure in quinces are being played left and right, dude, bodas, all that. Yeah,
and he's supposed to perform at the Spotify Awards. So he was invited as like a rising artist to Spotify Awards.
And I mean, hopefully the people that are like making these award ceremonies, they know the type of baggage that he's bringing, because it's some hardcore stuff, the stuff that he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, he's even putting himself in danger, I think, because if you're associating, he said that, I don't know, you saw the video, right, for La Chimichanga. Yeah. They're all like decked out in military gear and stuff like that. He said that his tia was the one that had the idea of like, hey, if you're going to sing cumbias bélicas, dress up and like, play the role. But that's a little dangerous to play with sometimes.
I mean, it's like back in our days, like if you have like an East Coast rapper going to the West Coast and vice versa, like you're supposed to ask for permission. Hey, man, I'm going to fly into, is it okay that I go? That happens in Mexico a lot with these different artists, and if you don't ask for permission, or if you're not given permission to be there, all of a sudden you better watch out. Get to your hotel, get out of there quick, because then you're gonna be part of the violence that's going on. And this dude, he looks real young. He's like a real young kid, you know. And it's I sound like an old person now. It's like my mom and my grandma, my grandpa saying all these things, but it's so it's sad and scary.
Yeah, because I think you've lived long enough to see it. You recognize the patterns. You recognize what could potentially happen. Right.
Yeah. For him and he's talented. You know, if he's making these lyrics and they're pretty they connect. And however, you gotta be careful, man. You can't mess with this stuff. Yeah. It's so dangerous.
I just wonder, maybe what people are just sort of hungry for is like a unique, something different, right? Because if you think of Peso Pluma, you think about Yahir. All these guys like have super unique voices, like even Javi, right? Like they're just unique, and you hear it, it's like, wow, something fresh, something different. And maybe that's why they're blowing up. I don't know. What do you think?
It's the quick jolt of what's different for the generation, for the listeners out there, right? It's gonna be a potential of oh man, this is so new that I can attach myself to it and listen to it, be the first one to listen to it. Hey dude, check this out. Just listen to this.
Put you on, right?
Yeah, let me put you on this dude. He's really good. It's a really good feeling. I mean, I remember those days, you know, have you never heard of this band? You never heard of this artist?
Right.
Listen to him and then all of a sudden people like them and it's a good feeling.
Was that with you with Tool? Like, hey, have you checked out Tool?
Yeah, have you listened to this? Have you think about this? And there's been a couple of people, you know, that no, I never heard of that, or just artists that would sing in Spanish, you know, that here in the U.S. would not have gotten into the radio, but you would listen to them and you put people on them and like Maná back in those days, you know, Carla Morrison, you and I went to their concert one time. It was like
even Shakira, right?
Yes.
When she was like singing in only in Spanish, it was cool to know about Shakira before everybody knew her, before her hips didn't lie anymore. Right.
Right. No, I remember the first time it was one of the high school days. You know, it was so cool. Nobody here heard of her, and only a small amount of people, and that's a connection. That's something that that feels really good to connect with someone over music, because music is important. It really influences your day to day.
What's your favorite Shakira song?
Bro, that's a good question, because recently I've been listening to Shakira a lot, and I would say probably two favorite ones is Moscas en la Casa.
Okay.
Is really good, and Un Día de Enero.
Okay.
Those two are really cool. Antología is also, oh man, it's just her lyrical content. It's so good. She's very creative with her lyrics, and I really appreciate the time and connection that she has with her. What she's been going through in life. I think she's been very vocal about that. I think when something almost like a Taylor Swift, if something's going on for you that day,
true.
I'm gonna write a song right now, and it's gonna connect with a lot of people.
Yeah, when she was going to the breakup, and she basically put him out.
With Piqué?
Yeah.
She made a song real quick, and it hit.
Yeah,
it was a big hit.
Yeah.
That Dia de Enero is when she was going out with the Argentinian president's son.
Okay.
And there's a lot of references to that dude, and it's really it's a really sweet song. Really.
What's the one where she says "que me baño los domingos" or whatever? You know which one I'm talking about?
I think so. Hold on,
I love the lyrics on that song. I can't think of the title, but it's like "y para que sepas me baño los domingos." So I was like, okay, that's a cool lyric. But if you're only like taking a shower on Sundays, like I'm a little concerned with that. Right?
Yeah, it's a really good bar, right? Yeah. It's almost like a bar in a rap song. Yeah, it's a really cool bar, and she does that very well. Very unique. Unique. I remember when she came out, they were comparing her to like Alanis Morissette, like the Spanish-speaking Alanis Morissette, because she was really creative with her lyrics. If you think about it, and they actually were on the same time. They were coming out, and I think she was an influence. Alanis Morissette was an influence on Shakira.
Yeah. And once again, bringing it full circle, unique voice.
Yes.
Right. So if you hear Shakira, there's nobody else that
Yep.
sounds like Shakira, right?
No, she's very unique. I mean, she, I guess, has no one else can do that. No, it's almost like yodeling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I think Jewel in English. I love her voice. I love her music. I mean, that's when we were in high school. That's our high school days of Jewel, and she would like almost yodel.
True.
Yeah.
The vocalist from Cranberries.
Yes.
Something similar.
I don't remember. I don't know her name, but I love.
She passed away, but she was awesome. She did kind of a similar vibe.
Yes. Yeah. Very. Almost. I mean, they were from Ireland, I believe, right?
I think so.
They're from Ireland, and it's kind of part of their culture. And she brought it out and made it really, really cool and hip, and people enjoyed it. I really liked Cranberries. It was so cool.
Yeah. So let's talk about Mexico.
Yeah.
Something super historic happened.
Yes. Yeah.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
Like, if you would have asked me, I would have thought that this would have happened in the U.S. before it happened in Mexico. What do you think?
It's the new president, right? Mm-hmm. Claudia Sheinbaum, and just the her background, dude. It's so impressive. I'm very impressed. And I say that, and I don't want to like be. I'm such a feminist. I want to say that out loud right now and let everybody know. It's like being a feminist is so cool.
Yeah.
And for her to be the first female president in Mexico, and what she has done, just not as a president, but she's a doctor.
Yeah.
Like she did some studies at Berkeley, so she is very well versed in a lot, and she's a scientist. Her family is very interesting, and also for Mexico as a country, she comes from a Jewish background. Like her family's Jewish.
I was gonna say, so when she won the vote, she said, "Thank you, Jesus," was really "Thank you, Jesus," because her husband's name is Jesus, and a lot of the Jewish community was like, "Hey, that's not cool." They're up in the uproar, and it was like, "Dude, like do your fact check." And she's married to a guy named Jesus.
Yeah,
it was pretty.
Yeah,
funny.
It's going back to who she is, man. It's so impressive. I'm really proud of the country because the top two that were going for president were both women.
Yeah.
And two completely different parties. And I don't root for the other, but it's just the fact that the top two potential president, individuals to take the presidency in Mexico were women.
Right. And if you think of the stereotypical Mexico machismo, all the historic stuff that comes along with that,
the patriarchy,
to have somebody that's a female lead the country.
Yeah.
I mean, that's super like historical.
It is. It is. Other countries in Latin America have had a female presidents, but I guess for some reason, like in Mexico, they associate the machismo. I mean, like with the way of life in Mexico, right? So this is really like jolting the system. And her predecessor, the other president, the AMLO, he did a lot of different things, and some people are really for it, some people are really against it. It's just that what I appreciate is the ability to have a different individual, a different type of mentality to maybe influence other people. You have a democracy going, and if you want this individual to win, and you see a difference in what other parties have done in the past, you have the ability to do that. And going back to also or addressing like the level of violence that happens for women in Mexico, dude, and now having your leader of your country be a woman, that's great. I think that female vote, I think really had a lot to do with it. Let's have somebody that is like us, lead us, and then see what happens. Give them the opportunity to do that. And like you said, I'm really impressed that it happened in Mexico, and I thought it would happen here before.
It got close a couple of times, but it just didn't happen.
No.
But would you say that AMLO is kind of her mentor though? Because it kind of seems like they've been working together, and then she was the mayor of Mexico City, right?
Yeah.
So it almost seems like she's almost like that's my mentor type of thing.
Yeah,
right?
I think she's gonna. I mean, if you're for or against, I'm not saying that that's a good or bad thing. I'm not saying that. It's just that she's gonna pick up what it is that he was doing. A lot of people in Mexico are really happy with the differences because the other two parties that have been before AMLO had been in power had their chance, and let's try something different. Hey, and why not? Here in the U.S., I mean, we have a two-party system. Basically, other party, the independent vote is there, but it's never been really as forthcoming like the Republicans and Democrats. But in Mexico, apparently, you have a lot of parties. Right. They always have a chance, and now here.
She's part of that new party. I think it's called Morena. Right.
Yeah.
So she's kind of part of that new movement type of thing. Right?
Yeah. And so I hear from my family back home that things are different. Some things are really good. Some things are staying the same. But they're optimistic and being optimistic about where the country's going. Hey. Great. I mean, there's a lot of new projects, things that you never hear about. I think their economy right now, from last I heard, was doing really well when you compare it to the dollar.
That's awesome.
Doing much better for the people there, and
there's definitely a lot of opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Because right now, if you look at sort of the relations with the U.S. and China, some of these other countries, they're not the greatest right now. It could be a little opportunity for Mexico to do some nearshore. Right, like some shipping, stuff like that. There's a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of startups that are happening. I think Nowports, I don't know if you're familiar with Nowports, but they're basically like almost like a logistics company that's blowing up, this startup that's really cool and doing shipping logistics, and they're doing really well.
Yeah. I didn't know about that. Yeah. One thing talking about the business that they're doing is last I heard, and I mean, I haven't done a lot of research, but I heard about the Tesla. So Tesla, there's a huge lithium.
That's true.
In Sonora, I believe.
Yeah,
Sonora,
I think so, yeah.
The northern part of Mexico, a huge lithium area where they can
like a mine.
Yeah, like a mine. They can do caves and get the lithium out. It's the largest deposit of lithium in the world.
Okay.
And so Tesla's like, hey, we'll buy it from you. And then AMLO said, you know what? No, that's Mexico's lithium. We'll sell it to you.
Yeah, because it's different, right? Because over there, even the oil belongs to the government, right? Like there's no private oil company. That's right.
Yeah. Well, let us buy all this whole area. And we'll take care of it. It's like, no, actually, we're gonna do the mining. It belongs to the people, and if we will do the business of it, and that's exactly what they did with the oil. So it's interesting because a lot of the electric companies, right? And I mean, you're into this, really want this. They need this.
It's the new gold, if you ask me. I mean, if you think of everything that processing, even like anything electrical is going to require lithium, basically. So that's the next gold, if you ask me.
Dude, and so it's the largest largest deposit of it was found in Mexico, and so that's gonna influence definitely country, but definitely the region. The northern part of the country is gonna really benefit.
So she's gonna face a lot of challenges for sure. I can think of economy.
Yep.
I can think of infrastructure.
Yeah.
I can think of security.
Yeah.
Those are just like 3 things that are huge in themselves, right? So where would you start? Let's say you're the new president.
Yeah.
It's so hard. What do you tackle first? Right?
I mean, that's a hard question, right? I mean, and I'm not as involved in politics or anything like that, but from what I read or continue to do what your predecessor did. I mean, continue to improve on that because, like you said, he is her mentor, and whatever he was doing, people are happy. You gotta connect with what the people are saying. Don't try to make so many changes suddenly in such a short time, because the people are happy and continue to improve on that. And I think safety is always important. I think maybe that's just me influencing my where I'm from and all the crime that I've seen my family kind of be affected by, and that's important to me. But the rest of the country might feel different. The rest of the country might want more tourism.
I think you have to have that as a base, right? To do any kind of business, any kind of growth, people have to feel secure and safe, right? To visit for tourism, and even to like companies that come in and they want to invest, right?
Talk about tourism. I don't know if you heard about the Tren Maya down in the Yucatan Peninsula. They just opened a part of it.
Okay.
And one of my uncles is down there doing it right now.
No way.
Yeah. I can't wait for him to come back and I'll ask him some questions. How was it?
Yeah.
That was very, very controversial because it cuts through a lot of the jungle. And some of the Greenpeace people were like, no, leave that alone. Don't go through there. You're gonna mess up the environment. You're gonna negatively affect the environment. You shouldn't do that. But then the business side of things is like, look, this is gonna bring a lot of business to that area. A lot of the people that live there need jobs. A lot of people. So the arguments are there.
Right.
They're very valid arguments. But I mean, I'm glad I'm not making the decisions because it's hard, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I think she's definitely bright, right?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, her educational background is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
She has a lot of, sort of works that she put out there, a lot of writing and stuff that she put out there, published papers for, I think, climate change, energy, sustainable stuff. Like that's what she's into, I think. So she seems right.
Yeah, she seems, and kudos to her. Kudos to the people that were so open-minded and willing to make that vote, dude. Because I don't think in our country, well, here in the U.S., but in Mexico, the patriarchy has been really, really tough on women throughout my lifetime. Even before, it was hard, and seeing that man giving women that opportunity that is way overdue, way overdue, and she's got, dude. I'm almost certain that she will deliver, and she's got that determination. I've seen a lot of her speeches, and I'm really, really, really rooting for her. I'm really happy.
Cool. That's a huge barrier to get through either way, right?
Dude, yeah, it is.
Speaking of that, we have another female making waves, Caitlyn, right?
Yep.
What do you think about Caitlyn?
Dude.
I don't get the hate, man. I don't understand why everybody is against her.
Yeah.
They were complaining about salaries. They were complaining about, we want, we have as much talent. We want the same amount of eyes and ticket sales as the NBA, right? So tell me, what are your thoughts on that?
I've been talking to some the women in my life, right, and kind of how what they think about what's happening, and it's really disappointing. The way I interpret it is very disappointing to them to see that her teammates are not kind of backing her up as much as they should.
It's bullying.
It is.
Like
it really is.
The whole league is bullying her. Like she gets shoulder checked. Like every game.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yes. And the NBA players are kind of like rooting for us, like and asking where are her teammates, because that would not happen in the NBA if you see like LeBron when he came out as a high school player going into the NBA. Most of the players in the NBA were like, okay, this dude is gonna revolutionize.
It's the future.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, let's get back. Let's back him up. And now with Caitlyn Clark, I mean, she's such a down to earth. Really looks very, very, very heartwarming kind of individual, and they're threatened by it. It seems to me, you know, in my field in mental health, like I see it, it's like you are threatened by her success, and why not embrace it? Why not? She's gonna improve her way. Her approach to the game is gonna improve my way of life eventually.
Right. And the rumor is that she's not gonna be on the squad for the Olympics. To me, that is like, why?
No.
Like, it's not like she's a charity case. She's gonna put up numbers. You put her on the squad, like she's gonna deliver. Right?
My understanding is that her first game in the WNBA, some analysts, and there were prior players when they had retired, they were saying how they were skeptical. Like, you know, Caitlin has never played against WNBA players, against pro players, and like she scored, like she was a top scorer.
Crushing it.
Yeah, she's that night, and so they had to like eat crow with that because. She did so well. She did so well, and I was very impressed. It's really cool to see her play, and she's like the Steph Curry with her game.
Exactly.
Just her game, like the Steph Curry of the NBA, where she just shooting from like close to half court and it's going in. It's like so cool to see. So
To me,
amazing.
that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
If it turns out to be true that she's not going to be on the Olympic team, that I could argue that she could be the biggest sort of like player in all sports, right? If even like regardless of Luka or whoever, everybody wants to go check out Caitlin play.
Yeah.
So if you don't involve her to the Olympics, I don't think anybody's going to care about the Olympics. Right?
And because the Olympics is worldwide. I mean, WNBA is probably worldwide. You have a lot of players from all over the world. But this is the mecca of sports, right? For your sport, you want to be a gold medalist, and so having the best player in the world not be in the Olympics, that's crazy for your game. If you're the WNBA, that's completely negatively affect you because she's not putting your name out there. Where does she play? Oh, she plays for the Indiana Fever. What is the Indiana Fever from? The WNBA.
I bet you nobody knew about the Fever before Caitlin.
Right.
And now all eyes are on that team. Yeah. And the same thing, if she goes to Olympics, everybody's going to be watching the Olympics because of her.
Yeah. Business-wise, makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. Why wouldn't the WNBA and whoever in the Olympic team or committee, whoever needs to make this decision, it's going to help everybody. It makes too much sense.
I don't get it. Yeah. Dude, I don't get the hate. And you know more about this than me, but what do you think about the bullying and the mental health? Yeah. Right? What is that going to do to her?
And I think, dude, the way she reacts to it is very impressive. What I've seen is that she has such a strong team, and that could be family. That could give her some reassurance of what she's doing, and maintaining that level of secure. A level secure in her environment, the here and now is really important for someone to rely on that, because it could be very taxing, dude, to think of the whole league being against you.
I can't even imagine, because you're new to the league. Yeah, you're new. You're trying to prove yourself, and then if you can't even count on your own team to support you, what does that do to you?
It's so. If you don't have those individuals that are backing you up, you don't have that secure foundation of people around you, man, I think she would have almost like a breakdown. You know, she could not. She could be very, very headstrong. But I'm really happy that she has individuals that could, and I'm glad that other sports figures are really like helping her out. And
that's the thing. If you look at the guys in the NBA, they're all like, "Hey, Team Caitlin, like let's support her." And even like the amount of money that she's gonna make compared to an NBA player is not even close, right? But then there was other people that were stepping up, and they're like, "Hey, we'll give you this brand deal. We'll give you this and that." To make up for that,
endorsements are high for her, and so I think that's part of the threatening, right? That's part of the bullying. It's like, well, why couldn't I get it? I've made those type of moves before. I've made so many points before for my team. Why didn't I get it? She's just more marketable, and she can't help that. But then at the same time, why can't you just like endorse her as an individual for your league? It was like, hey, great that she's coming on board. And she's helping out. I'm going to benefit from that. Some way, form, or fashion, I will benefit.
There's more eyes on the league, especially if you're on that team. There's definitely going to be more attention on your team. To me, that's a positive.
It is. Everybody will continue to benefit if they allow her to. It's almost like you're the rookie. You can have a whole entire rookie year of just everybody bashing you, everybody treating you bad. Okay, not during the game, because you hear it all the time, like NBA players or NFL players, like the rookie's gonna carry our bags, the rookie's gonna get treated like crap, right?
Like hazing
type of thing.
Yeah.
There's part of that, but in the game, dude, the game, that's when the audience is there, the fans are there. You want to give them what they came to see. You don't want to make it ugly. That's not cool. I mean, they want to see this. They want to see a cool game. They want to see a fun and they want to be part of a fun environment. And
I just don't get it. I don't get what the toxic behavior is. And I think if anything, she's bringing more attention. And I would argue that she's kind of one of the biggest sports figures right now. So not including her, especially in the Olympics. When I saw that, hopefully that's not true. Yeah. But those are the rumors.
I hope not, man, because it would be awesome to see him and female players all over the world. I mean, they're very competitive against the U.S. So the U.S. needs to bring their A game. Yeah. You see him in the NBA. I mean, look at Luka. Look at Jokic from Denver. Like, those dudes play for their country, and they're gonna make it difficult for a U.S. team. Yeah. You know that, so for her, the same thing goes for the women. When they go into the Olympics, the U.S. needs to take their best players, because everyone else, it looks really good on them if they make it a difficult game for the U.S. or even beat the U.S.
I think that's the thing, right? I think right now the competition's just not there. Okay, so they know if they take whatever squad, they're really, it's going to be easy, right? I don't want to downplay the other countries, but right now the U.S. is kind of the leader in that. So maybe that's why they want to take more experienced players. But to me, it's just a missed opportunity to not take your biggest star to the Olympics.
And you always have that Rudy mentality for the other team as well. I mean, it happened back in '81, I believe, in the Winter Olympics with the U.S. and the Russian team in hockey. The U.S. beat Russia, and Russia was like, they brought in all of their players, and the U.S. only brought college players, I think. Right. Yeah. And the U.S. won. The U.S. beat them, like the Miracle on Ice, they called it, right? So there could be something like that. Why, if you have the ability to play hard and play a great, have a great team, why not do it?
Yeah, because if you're looking at just stats and numbers, she's way above a lot of the players that they are choosing to draft for the Olympics.
Yeah. No. Hopefully they switch up their mentality on that, because we want to see. I want to see. I like watching her games. It's so cool. She's got such a great form.
Yeah. Those were the topics that I had. Did you have any topics that you wanted to talk about?
Just as far as topics go, what's going on out in the world with just sports related, right? Sports related. The World Cup is coming, right? It's getting closer. Are you interested in maybe looking into that? Yeah. What are you any games, any teams that have you seen recently? Locally, Mexico lost the other day against Brazil. Yeah.
So confession, right now I'm all in on basketball.
Are you?
Right. So right now I'm watching the Mavericks play. It's been amazing to see Luka. Yeah. And and then Irving. It's been crazy to watch both of those.
So Luka, he's such a. It was funny to see. I guess he got not reprimanded, but it was when they won the West. Mm-hmm. When they won the West and they were celebrating in the locker room. Did you see that?
Oh, he was drinking the beer, and then the guy, he was like
the GM or somebody,
the GM of the NBA or somebody. He just walks up, takes the beer, doesn't even say a word, just takes the beer, and Luka's just okay, yeah.
Apparently they want him to lose weight, right?
Yeah. I don't know if that's, somebody was saying that was because the beer company wasn't affiliated with the marketing and they weren't paying for advertisement. But I didn't know if it was that or if it was more of an image thing of hey, we don't want our star player drinking beer on camera. I don't know what it was.
I heard that it was hey man, you need to lose a little bit of weight. We can't have you celebrating.
No way.
Because he gets a lot of riff for that, because his image, his body image, is not what they would think of a star of his level would look like. But I mean, that's body shaming. That's not cool. That's not cool either, because I mean, he's delivering. This is what his body image. He's okay with it,
and he's performing.
And
he's doing triple doubles, every game basically. It's been amazing to watch.
So I'm rooting for him. He's such a likable dude, man. I know that's your team. So
and he knows 3 languages or something. Have you heard him speak Spanish?
He speaks very well in Spanish because he played for Real Madrid.
When he speaks Spanish, he kind of sounds like he's from Spain. Like he has that accent like Spaniards do.
And he's so he's very. I'm sure the Dallas Mavericks, like the team itself, and the city of Dallas, man, they are in because they had Nowitzki, right? They had Dirk for a long time, and very similar personalities. Yeah. So they're really lucky. Yeah. They're getting these dudes from Europe that have this really likable approach.
He's always joking around. Yeah. And have you seen him do the trick shots? He's always doing trick shots from like the opposite side of the court or like up above the scoreboard. Yeah. Like he's always doing crazy trick shots. Yeah.
Jokic is another one that it's so funny to see him. I was talking recently about how he's so willing to not it looks like he doesn't like his work, his job. His job is to play in the NBA. And then like last year when they won the championship, they was getting interviewed and they're asking, hey, how do you feel about going into Denver for the parade, for the championship parade? And he's like, when is the parade?
Nice.
It's like Thursday. I got to get back to my horses. He got so scared that he couldn't get back to his. So he just doesn't want to be where his horses are not at, and very, very down to earth individuals, which is really cool to see.
The other cool thing that's happening is with Kyrie, right? Because a lot of the sports announcers were saying prior to this, Kyrie needs to retire. He's too old. He's had it, right? Yeah. And right now, he's proven everybody wrong. Like Kyrie has been playing amazing.
A lot of the players, man, what I've seen, they give him a lot of credit. They say he's the best handler ever. Yeah. He's getting a lot of positive praise with his peers. He's had some controversy. My understanding is in the past he was very vocal about certain social issues. Sure. But that's who he is and that's what he's about. But as far as his skill and the way he plays the game, like all the players that they talk about his skill set, dude, he is great. Yeah, he's really, really good.
And I think both Luka and Kyrie, they love going to the opposite side stadium and being down. And then having to like work for that win. I think they love that. That's like, we want to be under pressure and prove who we are.
What I didn't, and you were watching, I'm sure you were watching the games, but like with Snoop Dogg was at the Minnesota, Minnesota game. And Luka and him had like a banter going on. Yeah.
Because Snoop, prior to that, I think he had said, hey, I don't get what the hype is behind Luka. I don't think he's the greatest player. I'm not really impressed. Like he was talking all this trash. And then Luka, caught wind of that. He's like, okay, I'm going to show you what I'm about.
Dude, he killed it that night.
Yeah,
he did.
And he likes to kind of look at people and smile. And if he knows like, hey, they've been talking trash. I'm going to acknowledge you and I'm going to be like, hey, how do you like this?
Yeah. On a similar but different note, like the situation with the Diddy scenarios, dude, there's a lot of stuff coming
crazy,
out.
Right? So especially with the new video that came out where he's at the hotel. Have you seen that? Yeah. How do you argue that, right? Because prior to that, he was like, hey, the truth is going to come out. It's just time. Like, just give me some time. And, once the video comes out, there's evidence there. Like, what do you do, right?
I'm just, in the grand scheme of things, the way I see it is like for him, things are going to, I think society is taking over in a good way. That way we're putting you out in the light of things, so people can see and make a determination of who you are as a person. You deliver great hits, you help people become famous, you gave us great music. However, man, as a human, dude, you're so bad. So that is. That's not going to help you. That's not going to save you. In a way, I'm glad about that. I'm glad that we have cameras. I'm glad that we have access to this because I think it's going to put those individuals that are not good as people. You can have both. You can be a great person and also be a great producer. Whatever it is that you do in the field. Let's go ahead and celebrate those folks, right? Not the ones that only are good at one skill set, but as a person, you're not gonna help anybody out.
Yeah. To me, what was crazy, if that's what was caught on video,
Yeah.
imagine what wasn't caught on video. It's probably even worse, right? So
yeah, exactly.
I don't even want to think about it, man.
Dude,
it's tough.
It was really tough to see. There's a lot of folks I see. It reminds me of Ray Rice, the situation with him back in the day. He was a really good running back for the Ravens, I believe, and people were not having it, dude. Once that comes out and you present yourself like that, especially with women, like, dude, you have to be. You can see what the type of person that you are behind closed doors at that point. It's a scary sight to see. I personally hate it when women are seen as less than, especially by men. It's always something really hard to see, and I always like with my kids, especially with my little boy, like I love to teach them the right way of how they should treat a woman.
Definitely.
And he asks questions. He's really intricate in his asking of questions, and it's really cool to see his brain work. And when you see things like that, you wanna protect them, but also share things at their level. It's very important. And what I see sometimes in society, what I see sometimes in these videos, man, it's really, really scary.
Yeah. And then you go back and then you listen to a lot of these songs and you listen to it in a different way, the lyrics and everything. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but sometimes there might be some messages there, right? Like you go back and you're like, wait a minute, I was listening to the song, partying or whatever. I thought it was a fun track. And then, I don't know. It ruins a lot of the
especially
music.
for like in the field, right? In your field is the R. Kellys of the world.
I can't play if I'm DJing. Dude, I can never play R. Kelly again.
No, it's because of everything that they were insinuating. You now you question it. Hindsight is 20/20, right? They say, right?
If you didn't know the context and stuff, right?
Now there's this concept. I mean, I'm sure you heard of it, but like when you compartmentalize things, like are we able to compartmentalize who he was as a person, put him in one side, and then as an artist, right? Can we do that
to a certain extent?
Some folks can.
That once that line is crossed, to me, like it's tough.
No,
right?
I get it.
Like, I can't do it.
I get it. Another one, MJ. Michael Jackson. I mean, he was the king of pop, and there's people that cannot let that go. He was the greatest. He was the greatest. However, as a person. He had flaws, and those flaws are huge. So that's those two examples. And now with the Diddy situation, you have like Harvey Weinstein, a lot of this the cancellation of a lot of these folks. Some folks say, well, cancel culture is getting out of control. But let's not lose track of the actual individuals that have been proven to be not good for society. Let's not lose track of that.
I'm just hoping like Usher, some of these other guys are like, hey, stay out of trouble because my R&B playlist right now, it's in trouble. It's in shambles right now.
I get it. I get it. It was such a big part of our life growing up. You know, you it's like your childhood was a lie. Sometimes I think like, oh my God, not my childhood, but maybe my adolescence and teenage years. Like, well, what was I really listening to? What was happening with these folks? Dude, it gives you a perspective, complete different perspective. Yeah,
we'll keep an eye out and see what happens with the whole Diddy situation. But right now, it's not looking good.
No, it's not. I was never a huge fan of Diddy.
The thing is, he produced a lot of the, if you think of 112, if you think of Mace, if you think of Notorious B.I.G., so many people, I could go on forever. So many people that he produced.
I think he did a lot of the stuff for Mary J. Blige too, right? And Usher. Usher, and even after that, or not too long ago, was Justin Bieber.
Yeah, there's some crazy videos with Diddy and Bieber and stuff, and now that you have the context and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's so
not looking good.
Not looking good. Not looking good. No.
Yeah. So before we sign off, I wanted to ask you about content recommendations. So for me personally, I saw Godzilla -1. Have you seen that?
No.
Dude, you got to check it out. To me, that's probably like my favorite Godzilla movie that I've seen. And I watched it with like sort of like the subtitles, right? But everybody says if you listen to it in Spanish with the Spanish dub, that it's really good. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch it with the Spanish
Okay.
dub. But Godzilla -1,
Okay.
dude, amazing.
Okay, I'll try that. I saw Friday. I went to go. I went to the movies. I went to go watch The Watchers.
Okay.
Have you seen any reviews for that?
No.
It's a M. Night Shyamalan film.
Okay.
So it was funny because I'm there watching it, right, and I'm thinking, okay, what's happening here? Because he's notorious for like giving you a plot twist at the very end. You know, with Sixth Sense. You ever remember back in the day?
Definitely.
With the Sixth Sense, I remember exactly where I was. I went to the movies. And we were sitting down watching it. At the end, when he finds out that he's dead, right? He's dead. Oh, sorry, nobody's ever watched it, right? So
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, right? He's dead, and we're like,
Yeah.
the whole theater was like, what? And it was it was a cool experience, right? So from there on out, a lot of his films have that twist.
Okay.
And on this one, I'm sitting down to the entire movie like, where's the twist? Where's it coming? Where's it coming? I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but I would recommend it. It's really cool cinematography, really cool, a really cool plot. Not as scary as I thought it was going to be, but it's still there's some really creepy situations. But it's very M. Night Shyamalan type film. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you once again for being on the pod. What do you think? You know, here at Maverick Studios,
dude.
I want to thank you. What did you think?
I love it, dude. It's such a really cool. It's a really cool vibe. I love the new place. I think you guys are gonna kill it in here. Whatever it is that is coming is gonna be great.
Awesome.
I really like it. I really like it, and I'm really pumped for you. I'm always rooting for you. One of my best buds. And I love everything that you do, and I'm always on your corner. And I appreciate you letting me come on again. And
I mean, now we can pod more often. Now we can just say, hey, you want to pod? Let's go.
Let's go.
Like, it's already set up. Right?
It's all you.
Yeah.
It's all you, and it's. I'm just happy that things are going so well for you, and here at the studio, it's looking amazing. And
thanks,
and,
appreciate it.
Yeah, I know, dude. It's cool.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the super talented Mark Gomez on the Maverick Podcast. In dreams, we trust.
Awesome.